Neil, why does religion have such a problem with sex?
I don't know, they do seem a little bit obsessed by it.
Yeah, we compiled how many 3 stories for this weekend. It looks like sex is on the agenda on all 3 of them. I don't know what it is. I mean, you look at the Bible, it seems to be obsessed with sex, who can sleep with who, and what you can do before sex and after sex, and who you should have sex with, and
this...
the sex manual.
Yeah, this... there's a lot of instruction in there, that's for sure.
I think that's how it all started.
But yeah, and they also like to use sex to blame people for things.
Oh, that could be it. You know, weaponizing sex. Yeah, how to get people to do things? That's right. Interrupt their bedroom shenanigans. Well, we're just going to jump right into this, and the first one comes from Pink News, Co-UK. A Catholic cardinal has blamed sexual abuse scandals on a homosexual culture within the church. Ah, that must be it. U.S. Cardinal Raymond Burke, who serves as patron of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta in Rome, added that homosexuality was a tendency that is disordered and needed to be purified at the root. The 70-year-old former head of the influential Apostolic Signatura has a history of making anti-gay comments, having claimed in 2014 that parents should keep their children away from gay relatives. In August of this year, a grand jury reported its belief that thousands of boys and girls in Pennsylvania had been raped and sexually abused by more than 300 Catholic priests. Burke attributed some blame to the spread of contraceptives before once again condemning homosexuality. And then we have a quote here from him. The sexual act has no meaning whatsoever except between a man and a woman in marriage, since the conjugal act is by its very nature for procreation. Now, we hear that a lot. If you have, for instance, multiple partners or a same-sex partner, it's like, no, it's for procreation, therefore this doesn't work. But what they seem to forget is people don't always have sex just to have children.
Yeah, and if it was just to have children, why did God make sex pleasurable?
That's a good point, yeah.
And if it was just for procreation, why did he make it that men can get some quite bad diseases and problems if they don't ejaculate regularly?
Yeah, and it comes out anyway, as we know from, early on. It will come out in dreams and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and also, if the Catholic Church don't like gays, why did God put the man's, how will you put it?
You're going to say the G-spot.
The G-spot up his bum.
It's all a test to see if we would do it or not. But considering that God knows everything, it makes you wonder why he has all these tests going right back to the Adam and Eve story. Anyway, the comments from Burke, who in 2015 said that people in Ireland who voted to legalize same-sex marriage were worse than pagans, feed into the dangerous myth linking gay people with pedophilia. The falsehood has a long and hateful history, but just in the past year or so, it has been repeated by a Labour Party councillor who branded pride marches pedophiles, and also by Spanish ultra-conservatives and a Danish imam.
Yeah, and this is the real danger of this story. I mean, one of the guys an idiot just trying to say that it's gays that are causing priests to fuck children, but the danger is, just trying to link being homosexual to being a paedophile. Now, this is something that I was brought up with in the 70s and very early 80s, where everyone I knew, gay, must be a paedophile, gay, must be a paedophile. And it's just absolute nonsense. The actual facts are that there are no more, in fact, I do believe I read there was less paedophilic tendencies in the homosexual community than there are in the straight community. Yeah,
and quite often what the therapists say is that they don't care really if it's a boy or a girl. They might go for instance, boys because they have more shame and they won't tell. But the thing is, unfortunately, it has been lumped together, not so much by the general public now, but still it's being promoted by the church as they're both perversions, they're both sins.
Yeah, and this is nothing but hate speech.
Oh, yeah.
But when hate speech is done by major religions, it seems to be completely ignored for some reason. I mean, this is hate speech against the gay community, calling them paedophiles effectively.
Oh yeah, if a reporter said this,
yeah,
or an actor, they'd be ostracized.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, but somehow they get away with it because it's a major religion.
It's like, oh, well, they think it's sin, bless them. Yeah. So they get away with it.
I know. I would like to say it's surprising, but it's not, because the churches are riddled with loads of old people like this.
Yeah.
A load of old people were brought up with very repressed feelings about their sexuality, not talk about sex, whether it be gay sex, straight sex, or whatever, and they've seemed to have taken that into
very black and white.
Yeah, whatever aspect of life they've gone into, and a lot of them have gone into the church.
Yeah.
A lot of them have gone into the church. I mean, hopefully the next generation of people coming through the church won't have the same sort of abhorrent attitudes as this man.
And what they always seem to forget is that gay people they get together for consensual sex between adults. A paedophile usually forces him or herself onto a child for really more of a power trip than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that distinction needs to be made. Sticking with this theme of sex, this is from patheos.com, Christian marital advice. Husband should not tolerate wife's sexual refusal. A conservative Christian website advises husbands that if the wife is resisting during sexual intercourse, the best course of action is to carry on and avoid looking at her face. Claiming that men should not tolerate refusal, a post on the conservative Christian website biblicalgenderroles.com advises married men that they should not look at their wives' faces during sex if she is engaging in intercourse begrudgingly. The Christian website advises wives who do not enjoy sex with their husbands to fake it, and offers the following advice to husbands when wives refuse to fake it. Are you ready for this? This is a quote. Your beautiful bride's face becomes ugly during this sinful time that she is grudgingly giving you sex as she grimaces, wanting you to just hurry up and get it over with. Focus your eyes on her body, not her face. Focus on the visual pleasure you receive from looking at her body and physical pleasure you receive from being inside your wife. You want to connect with her physically and emotionally during sex. But your wife is the one refusing to connect with you emotionally, so you have to concentrate 100% on the physical side. In other words, to maximize pleasure, a husband should try not to look at his wife's face while he rapes her. That's what it says, and I agree with that. And I'll just read one more part of this. In essence, the author of the post justifies what amounts to marital rape by invoking the biblical concept that sex is both a gift and a duty in marriage, and referencing several Bible quotes. So, you look shocked.
Well, let's just...
We've seen this before.
Yeah, we have seen this before, but let's just call this website what it is. It's not a conservative Christian website. It's a pro-rape website.
Biblicalgenderroles.com.
Yeah. It's a pro-rape website. They are advocating rape.
Edited by men, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know what more to say about that. I mean, I know the Bible does quite often order rape.
Yeah.
Take the women for yourselves example. There's no other way you can take that apart from take them and do what you want with them.
Sounds like an ISIS sex manual.
Yeah. No wonder that
this is going on today.
This sort of religions, well, actually, yeah, but they're losing their following, this sort of religion, thank goodness, because this is...
Well, if people like us keep highlighting this nonsense, then yeah, it should just fade away. But it just seems to keep rearing its ugly head, doesn't it? These weird attitudes.
Let's just put this right. If you're a person who honestly gets pleasure out of forcing yourself on your wife...
Maybe that's what this is about.
Please go and seek help. And if you're a wife having it forced upon you, please report it to the authorities. You have protections out there. Husbands don't have a right to do this to you. So if you are a Christian or non-Christian wife or any atheist or whatever, if a husband is forcing themselves on you, you have protections out there. Please go to the authorities.
Absolutely.
It's just shocking in this day and age, isn't it, that this thing still goes... It still goes on. It's just
I'm trying to look up this Bible verse. I know they refer to sex as the use of the woman, something like that, because that demonstrates everything this is saying. But yeah, it does talk about it someplace. I can't think where it is right now. Perhaps one of the viewers will be able to tell us about it. It talks about the use of the woman by the man, and that's kind of like, I think, where they're coming from in this.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the article, it does make a very valid point. Of course, it should be noted that not all Christians agree that wives should submit to marital rape.
No, of course not.
However, it is usual within most forms of religious fundamentalism. It's extremism. That's the point of it. This is extremism. It's the women who suffer the most, while the men are given permission to treat their wives not as people but as property. So, whatever religion you are, nun, Christian, Muslim, and you are appalled by this story, make sure all your peers know you're appalled by this story.
Yeah.
Because actually it's that sort of thing that changes attitudes, is people knowing that you're appalled by marital rape.
Absolutely. And it goes right back to your holy book, which was written by men in the name of their equally misogynistic God.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure this sort of conversation wouldn't come up in your congregation at church.
No.
So, I mean, it takes people to be brave and point out this sort of fundamentalism, and we can put these things back in a box. We've proved this many, many, many times, that these sort of ideas can be put in a box and hidden away, and we can get rid of them. But they surface back up if we don't continually challenge them.
That's it. We have a lot of things in the world surfacing back up again. Everything from Nazism to anti-Semitism, and it's unfortunately it is kind of a pendulum, but it shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't be a pendulum, but there's always people out there willing to use the most hateful, hurtful, destructive things to get whatever power they can, whether it be at a small level with a pastor having his flock around him, to sometimes make themselves extremely rich.
It's the power thing again,
or
it's the power over the woman.
Run a political party, to run a country, whatever it is, there are people willing to do this. So right-minded thinking people who understand that rape is wrong no matter what need to stand up to this.
And the people that this article is aimed at, it's justifying rape. It's like, well, your duty is to give me sex when I want it, not when you want it. And surely it would be more pleasurable if the woman also wanted it and was enjoying it. So there's something to be said about...
That's personal experience when the other person's enjoying sex.
Yeah.
It seems more fun. But it's also worrying because I don't know who wrote this article. I'm not making actually any claims, but it sounds like they know what marital rape is like.
Oh, they're speaking from experience.
Sounds like they might be.
Yes.
I hope
take it his wife doesn't read the website.
Yeah, maybe.
He's probably not allowed to read the website.
But some women actually buy into this because they've been abused so long. It's like a Stockholm syndrome. They've absolutely become prisoners of this actual thinking.
And I have to say, this is very reminiscent of cult leaders as well.
Yes.
That's how the man would be behaving.
Yeah,
if he adopted these...
Submit yourself. Definitely.
Well, we go back to the gay theme again. Why is the Catholic Church so obsessed with this? This comes from theguardian.com. Gay people should not join the Catholic clergy, Pope Francis says. No room for fashionable homosexuality, and gay priests should be impeccably responsible or leave. Pope Francis is concerned about what he describes as the serious issue of homosexuality, saying in an interview published on Saturday that being gay is a fashion to which the clergy is susceptible. And a quote here, "The issue of homosexuality is a very serious issue that must be adequately discerned from the beginning with the candidates," the pontiff said with regards to would-be priests. A decree on training for Roman Catholic priests in 2016 stressed the obligation of sexual abstinence as well as barring gay men and those who support gay culture from holy orders. What is gay culture? What do you make of this, Neil?
I don't know. Fashionable homosexuality? I mean, I know a lot of gay guys and they do have a great dress sense, and I guess in the church you're only allowed to wear the same black robes every single day. I don't know what he's talking about.
It goes, as far as we know, it goes back forever. I mean, you see gay acts on ancient Greek pots and things like that. So it's been fashionable for a very long time. It's not like the spinners or anything. It's sort of like it's here and then it's gone.
Yeah, what it is, it's him just showing his bigotry, isn't it? It's this lovely new progressive pope that everyone seems to be fawning over, who to the West generally sells himself as a progressive, lovely person, and then buggers off to Russia and does his gay bashing with the church over there.
Yeah.
He's just an old-fashioned bigot.
It's just progressive in the sense that he's thinking up of another excuse for why it's happening in the church. It's a fashion. How can that possibly work? Because it's not going to go away like a fashion.
He's just doing the same thing about relating gays to paedophilia. He's just doing it in a much politer way, where he's not using the word paedophilia.
Yeah.
Or child sexual problems. He's just hinting to everyone, it's the gays that are the problem.
Yeah.
It's the gays that are the problem. It's just freaking nonsense. It's just showing up his bigotry. Nothing more, nothing less.
The article goes on to say the barring of people who present homosexual tendencies was first stipulated by the Catholic Church in 2005.
Also, this is quite recent bigotry then.
Quite recent bigotry indeed. The Pope said, "We have to urge homosexual priests to live celibacy with integrity, and above all, that they be impeccably responsible, trying to never scandalize either their communities or the faithful body or the faithful holy people of God," he said. In 2013, just months after assuming the papacy, Francis said, "If someone is gay and is searching for the Lord and has goodwill, then who am I to judge him?" signifying a softer tone. So that's weird. That's sort of like out of left field, wasn't it?
So he's a hypocrite as well.
So he's vacillating back and forth on this. I suppose depending on what scandal happens that week.
Yeah. As you get older and your brain starts to get a bit addled, your bigotries come to the surface more. Just a fact of life. Anyone who's got... You see, you can walk into hospital wards, you see people being absolutely, completely racist and abusive, and it's because, a lot of the time, it's because actually they've got Alzheimer's and their mental faculties have gone. But it's only really their innate feelings coming to the fore. And this is what's happening with him. He's getting older and he's just going down.
I think the reason that the religious world is going so completely apeshit about the gay thing is because since, I guess, the late 60s, it's starting to become accepted and it's literally coming out of the closet. And they can't handle it.
No, they can't. And I don't understand why they're bashing on this door right now, because society doesn't give a crap anymore. Society just doesn't care whether people are gay anymore.
They think it's growing and people are becoming gay, like a field of mushrooms. It's not. It's the more people who have been suppressed are openly talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's still only a small percentage.
And I'm not trying to say there aren't still attacks and bigotry against gay people. There are, but it's lower than it's been for a long time. Generally, the younger population, they don't even ask a question, are you gay or straight, because it's irrelevant to them. You're just a person the same as they are.
Yeah.
We're all just the same. I mean, when I used to own Reason Coffee Shop, I didn't ask people whether they're gay or straight when they walked through the door. They were just all customers. It was irrelevant. And so for the church to be bashing on this,
they're becoming less and less relevant all the time with each one of these statements or these diatribes.
They are, absolutely. That is a good way of putting it. They're becoming less relevant to the current society, absolutely.
Well, who knows? Maybe by the time we do next week's show, there won't be any church at all. No, I think it's going to go on for a while.
It's going to go on for a while, but there might not be any Brexit.
That's true.
But we won't talk about that.
Okay, I will see you here next week.